Hey guys, welcome to another week of our weekly Sunday talks. So we're gonna have people tuning in from our group at Techbud Solutions. So pretty much how it works is we do our weekly analysis. I just pick a couple stocks to choose from. If you guys would like me to focus on some certain stocks, please feel free to either comment below. You guys can message me on the group me application if you guys are there already. You guys can message me through Facebook. Or if you have my number, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions and any stocks that you'd like me to focus on. So again, if you guys have any questions, reach out to me on any social media application or direct. If you guys have my number, feel free to reach out to me just so I have something to talk about. So I'm just going to be doing a couple analysis on stocks that I chose that I feel that are ones that are to look out for, and then we can kind of go from there. So I've picked out 3 of them so far. They're ones that we tend to trade quite often. I'm just going to talk about something that we've been doing throughout the week, some mistakes, and kind of going from there. And if anyone wants me to share kind of like their mistakes of the week and just wants to send me over the message, feel free to share. As Techbuds, we try to focus on not only the good parts of trading but also the bad parts, just so the larger we grow and the more mistakes and the more the more mistakes we make and the more things that lead to our success, we can kind of share within the members within our group, and that can kind of promote growth. So, let's say John, that's a new member, won't make that same mistake that I've made just based on my experience. Okay. So we have different people sending in different requests. Let me go ahead and search that stock. So you want me to do a special technical analysis, and if you guys can pull up Fidelity or whatever kind of brokerage company you use to kind of walk through, I feel like that's the best way that you guys will learn when it comes to doing technical analysis. Seeing me do it, but also kind of following just to see what I'm looking for. So again, the 3 rules that we usually tend to trade with when it comes to penny stocks is we do not hold overnight, just because we don't want to risk it, with those huge drops or delisting overall, as well as, we only trade stocks that we see 10% potential in. That's actually, that's something that I'd like to focus on the most. So I don't trade every day if I don't see that 10% potential. And then the last rule is setting a stop loss. And the only way that you're going to make money when trading stocks is if you can actually sell when you're in the red. So what that means is, if you're trying to hit 10% gain every single time, then you can have a 10% stop loss, which means, it would only you're only going to lose 10% of your money, which is better than losing all your money, which 90% of traders tend to do. So we have 4 stocks already. I think that's going to be enough just to kind of get us started, and then feel free to continue to send me messages on something that you'd like me to focus on or any questions that you guys might have. Again, you guys can reach out to me on any social media application. So let me go ahead and start sharing my screen, and then we can go for that. And thank you guys again for taking so much time, or 30 minutes from your Sunday. I really do appreciate it. So it usually goes from 9 to 9:30, and I feel like these things or these talks tend to be pretty beneficial to those who actually pay attention and follow through. So something that I'd kind of suggest is kind of do what I'm doing on the side. So you can have me on the YouTube live stream kind of on the side, and then have a separate window open, kind of trying to do their own analysis and kind of look for the points that I'm looking for when it comes to trading, just so when you want to do your own technical analysis, you have a better understanding of how to do it. And that's the whole point of this group, teaching you the fundamentals of trading. So I think I traded 3 or 4 times within last week. So I was in Maui, Hawaii for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Came back Friday, and that was probably one of the best days I had. It was really hard trading when I was in Hawaii because the market opened at 3:30, and I actually thought it was going to open them in Mountain Standard Time. So I thought it was going to open 3 hours, later. So I thought that, okay, that's perfect. 9:30, like I could definitely do that. But it opened at 3:30. It was really hard for me to wake up every morning, and we had different activities planned for the whole day. So it just didn't work out as planned. So mainly my main days of trading were the day I got there and then the day I left. Those were my main days. I think I made in total, like, with those 2 days, maybe like $400. So I hit my goal overall. I did have one bad day, and again, I'm going to talk about my mistakes I made just to help you guys out. And then if you guys want me to share any of your mistakes, feel free to reach out to me, just because that's really how we're gonna kind of benefit from one another. So let me go ahead and start sharing my screen. You guys are probably like, shut up, Ricky, just do your analysis already. Okay. So this is pretty much, I use Fidelity, as you guys can see, as my brokerage company. This is just so I can do my technical analysis. Fidelity is one of the largest brokerage companies out there, at least for your 401ks and traditional IRAs. I use Fidelity for my largest accounts, so I tend to trade with a little bit more money with Fidelity, but I love Robinhood because they charge no commissions. Just the only thing with Fidelity is you could trade, a larger variety of stocks, especially when it comes to penny stocks. So I already have 3 stocks picked out, or a couple more than that. So I'm going to do it a little raw. So what that means is, they're not prepared, and just so you guys can kind of walk through. So if you guys want a couple minutes, go ahead and type in INVT. So INVT is a company that we tend to trade quite often. It was introduced by one of our traders, Zach. So hopefully he's joining us today. INVT, I mean, it's, kind of like natural areas of trading. As you can see overall, I mean, it's natural area of trading is it tends to stick around, from 155, or at least it used to, from 155 to, $2 or a little bit above $2. So those were the resistance levels, and these were the safety nets where overall INVT used to trade. Right now it's kind of in a different level. So what that means is now it's actually trading around the 130 area. So based on its history, this is a 1-year term. It has hit lows of below, sub $1. It's been picking up and picking up and picking up, and it started trading within the 155 to 250 range. So that was a pretty big range overall. Now it tends to trade. It's a little bit more volatile. It's a little bit more, pink sheets, which means penny stocks. So we're going to get a little bit closer, and we're going to change the frequency. I like to do 30 minutes, have a better understanding, and I change to candlestick. So what that means is 10 days should be just fine. So overall in the 10 days, the resistance, that means it's a little safety net for me. So the lowest it's been able to hit has been around 133. And it has, a pretty good resistance level right around 145. So what that means for me is if I see that the high points are 145 and the low points are 133, or essentially 130, it comes to buying INVT, I will set my alerts when it goes below 135, just so I'm buying at these 130 to 135 range, and then I can sell from the 140 to 145 range. Or if you catch it on this big spike, which isn't very common, but it is possible, you can sell up there. But being realistic, I shoot for 10%. So if I buy at 130, I'd like to sell around 143, which is definitely possible. So even if I buy in around 133, which seems to be a point that it does hit, it tends to hit 135 the most, especially the past week. But again, just stick by the 3 rules. So no holding overnight, making sure that you only trade it when you see a 10% potential. So kind of write it down and stick by it. Don't be like, okay, look, I'm going to buy in at 130 to 133, and then it's around 134, and then you're like, all right, screw it, whatever. It's just 1 penny. We're just buying at 134. Because when you start breaking, kind of the rules, then you start being less disciplined, and then that's when it's going to lead to you making more mistakes and losing more money. And again, we're trading to make money. So I don't use trading as my primary source of income, but it's definitely nice, and it's definitely helped me out by being able to trade and stay disciplined with the 3 rules that have kind of led to the success of me trading stocks overall. So I'd say for INVT, I'd say a good little area of buy-in. So I'm going to do a double double green area. So what that means is I'd consider 130 to 135 a good buy-in area, at least based on this 10-day analysis for INVT. I'd consider a good selling area. So we don't usually do it like this, but this would be a good selling area around it'd be 143 to 146 range. should just, this is a good buying area, this is a good selling area. So this is again a safety net, this is a resistance level. And what that means is the stock comes down, struggles to go below a certain point, then picks back up, and then struggles to go above a certain point. So with that understanding INVT, I would set your alert, when INVT goes below 135, because that would be considered a good buy-in. And when INVT, goes above 43, and that would be considered a good sell point. And you can, kind of see once it hits 143, investors know that, that's a good resistance level, that's a good selling point, and they begin to sell. And then, the stock drops, and those that didn't know how to read the graph and, thought that it was going to continue to rise, as the stereotypical investor thinks, it's always going to continue to rise. It won't do that. And you really have to understand the graph and where you're buying. The only reason you should be buying a stock is like if you're buying a house or a car, if it's a good deal, right? So just think of this as like a Mustang. Mustang, a good buy-in area would be around this area, and, a good sell point would be around this area. So consider yourself like a car dealer. You want to make money, so you buy in low and sell high. Very easy, very simple concept. Just stick to the 3 rules, and that should essentially lead to your success. So let's go on to Rex. And again, if you have any questions about what I just said, reach out to me. I'd be happy to answer them. So Rex is one that we do trade quite often. As you can see, it has a very strong safety net right here, as within the 52 weeks or 55 weeks, or the life of Rex overall has not gone below, what's it called, 48 cents. So what that means right now is trading at cents, which overall it tends to stay above. As you can see, I think this would be a perfect example of what to look for when it comes to trading penny stocks. I mean, just because it's never gone below, 48 cents, doesn't mean that it won't, okay? That's what I really want you guys to understand. But what I want you to understand also is that we look for trends. I mean, you can look for momentum trading, which means that you tend to buy in when you see it picking up, which is what I tend to do. So I look at these graphs. Again, when I'm doing my little analysis, I set my safety net, which is down here, and my resistance level, which is up here. This is like my top, and this is my bottom. This is a good area to buy in. This is a bad area to buy in. This is a good area to sell. So this is 3 months. So this is too large of a hold for me, because it's penny stocks. I want to buy and sell within the same day, as we are day traders. So what I want to see is the lowest point is 55 cents or 54 cents, if that's what you want to say. So what does that mean is if you see it hitting 54 cents and then you see it picking up, going to 54 and a half, and then 55, and then you see the volume picking up and it continues to show upward momentum, then that would give you signs that it would be a good buy-in. So as you possibly saw in this area, because they hit little safety nets and little resistance levels that investors know it doesn't tend to go below 55 cents. So when it hits this area and they see it picking up, they buy in, and then they ride it up, and they sell. I shoot for 10%. That's all I care about. Yes, you could go for that full 100% profit. That's great. For me, I'm comfortable with my 10%. It's very realistic for me. It's helped me out a lot, and my success rate for investing is it's about 1% of traders. So because of that, I kind of just stick to my rules. I don't break them. I mean, I have broken them, but that's led to my mistakes. So pretty much, let's do a 10-day analysis just to have a better understanding on where it's been, the past week. So we can do 10-minute increments. Oh, that's too much. Let's do 30. That's good. So again, it has a safety, and this is one of my mistakes as well. I actually bought in at 59 cents, and that was a really big mistake, because when I bought in, I saw it take a big drop. And I was like, okay, well, based on the overall month, it was staying above 60 cents, as you could see here. But then it dropped. And what I want you guys to understand, and this is where I might lose some of you, safety nets and resistance levels, they're not always, just written in stone. So safety nets and resistance levels. So right now, or in this area, there is a safety net at 60 and a resistance level at 65. So what that means is the stock struggled to go below 60 and it struggled to go above 65. It doesn't mean that it wouldn't, but these are critical points in a sense. So once the stock does drop below 60, that's going to determine, if the stock is going to continue to go back down or if it's going to pick back up. So these are critical points. And the reason I always say wait for upward momentum is because of my mistake that I've made of I bought in at 59 cents because I was like, okay, look, it's been trading around or above 60 cents. Let me buy in at 59 cents. Bought in at 59 cents, but I didn't wait for that upward momentum. I thought it was going to pick back up, but it never did. It ended up dropping and dropping and dropping. And, I cut my losses short. So I sold at 58 cents just because I saw my mistake right away. And I told the team, another safety net for, once it breaks this safety net, this now becomes a resistance level as it struggles to go above, 60, as you can see in this new area, and it struggles to go below 55. So now this is a whole different level. So pretty much ignore all this up here. And now you're trading between 55 and 60 cents. And, trading a 50-cent stock, that's perfect because, that's a 10-cent gain that you can kind of achieve when it comes to trading Rex. So what I'd say is if it comes to trading Rex, again, wait for that upward momentum. Again, just because within the life of Rex, it's never dropped below 55 cents, it does not mean that it won't. So make sure when you buy in at 55 cents that you see upward momentum. And when you do, that'd be considered a good buy-in. And pretty much, determine, sell at 10%. It looks like the volume hasn't always been there. It's been hitting, highs of 59, which if you understand that it's been hitting highs of 59, just sell at 59 and, lock in your profits. And if you hit, 8%, at least you understood that you got a good buy-in and you got a good sell point. But really depends on, what kind of trader you are. Even though if this is considered a great buy-in and, it could shoot up to like 91 cents like we saw it did 3 months back, that's not what I'm going to hope for because it could also drop down to, 5 cents. And I'm not willing to lose all that money. So pretty much what I'd suggest is let's get a little bit closer to where it's been trading. This is a safety net. This is the resistance level. We don't really care about this right now. We're mainly trading in this area. So what that means for me is I set my alerts when the stock goes below 57 cents. So right now it's at 57. So this is kind of just the medium area. So it tends to trade around from 55 to 59 cents. And volume this week is really going to determine where it's going to go, if it's going to continue to drop or if it's going to break this resistance level and now begin trading around this area again. And that's really just it. So I'd say a good buy-in. Let's do that little thing that we did before. A good buy-in area would be around 54 to 56 cents. And a good sell point would be around, just to lock in your profits, I'd say anywhere between 59.9 or to 58.99 would be a good sell point, just so you can lock in your profits. It's all about, growing your account. If you're trading with $100, shoot for 10%, make $10. If you can make $10 every single time you trade for a month straight, and then you implement those same skills when it comes to trading with a $10,000 account, you're still trading exactly the same. You just have more money and you're still hitting the 10% goal. Now you'll be making $1,000 a month and $1,000 a day or every time you trade. So, you can trade 3 times a week, $3,000, for that week. 4 times a week, that's a good amount of money. Doesn't mean that everyone has $10,000 to trade. You could start with 100, grow your account. If you see that you're confident and you're doing well and you've done well for the past, 1 or 2 months and you've stayed consistent and you've stayed disciplined, then that's essentially what I did. I started trading with more money. I trusted myself. I learned from my mistakes. And then I've created this group just so we could all learn from each other's mistakes and it could lead to, a higher success rate when it comes to trading. There's no reason you guys should pretty much. So try not to get caught up on all the hype of when it comes to stocks and stuff. Really, we're all here to make money. We're all here to buy low, sell high. It's pretty much, it's just an overall concept. When you buy something, you want to get a good price for it. So Rex is a company, and we are buying companies. We're buying shares of companies. We want to buy it at a good price, and we want to sell it at a price that we understand would sell at and is a high point based on where it's at right now. So this is what it means to be a day trader. You need to be disciplined, and that's why it is very hard for people to succeed when it comes to day trading because people are very undisciplined. That's why people have so much debt. That's why people have such bad credit score. That's why people, can't make it in life. It's not because it's hard, but because they find it hard to be disciplined. And I'm sorry that, if some of you are in that situation, but I'm telling you, it's not only for day trading, but you can kind of implement these skills when it comes not only to trading, but to your life overall. If you stay disciplined and you stay on track when it comes to school, when it comes to work, when it comes to anything in life, and you go by certain rules that, can lead to your success, then you will be successful. It doesn't matter, what you're doing. It really just focus and do and go by your rules. Go by what rules or, what certain lessons will lead to your success. And that's pretty much, I'm sorry about that. That went in a little too deep. So let's go ahead and do PLM. PLM is one that was requested by one of our traders. So let's go. Hopefully he's still here and didn't just disconnect based on what I said. I'm sorry that I kind of wandered off a little bit. Let's see. All right, just wanted to read some of the group music. All right, so PLM. This is again my first time looking at this company. It was told, or it was requested for me to take a look at it by one of our traders. So pretty much what I see here is I'm going to draw a little area where it tends to trade between these two areas. These are the main areas that it tends to stay within, 70 cents to $1, which, it's trading at 70 cents. What is our goal? Our goal is 7 cents. That is our 10% profit. Is it possible with PLM? Definitely. Right now, it's at 91 cents. What does that mean? Well, I think that's too high to trade, from 91 cents to $1. It still gives us our 10%, but, based on its history, it could also just have a huge drop and let's lose all our money. So what I'd say for PLM, really look into the company. I'm going to do a little bit of a closer analysis. So it looks like it has a really low safety net at 55 cents and then a really high resistance level. I'm just going to go here because it's hit it twice. As you can see around this area, it's hit this point twice. As you can see, around $1. So it has a pretty much a resistance level around 120. Is a good place to put it. And a medium or just a medium point. So I'll change the color here. A mellow point where it's kind of like where it determines if it's a good place to sell or a good place to buy would be this area. So these areas would be better buyers. These areas would be better sell areas. Right now it's at a better sell area. As you can see, once it hit, this certain price, it started to decline because those that know how to trade notice that, there's downward potential. So for that, they lock in their profits, and then those that don't know how to trade, ride it down and still hope for that spike. All right, let me get a little bit closer into PLM. I don't like this setup. Let me go ahead and change this. The frequency, we'll change it to 30 minutes. So this is a 1 month analysis, and it looks like it's had a huge spike, and these huge spikes could be caused by, just pump and dump schemes. So what that means is, like I said, a good safety net would be roughly around 170, 173 would be a good safety net, and a good resistance level would be around 80 cents. So it used to trade in between this line, this area, and then it broke it, and then it had a huge spike. And you could actually kind of see how it determined this. So this is pretty cool. I find it pretty cool. So this is what I see here. Pretend this is a level. So it trades within level 1 right here, right? So it's trading. This is a good buy area around 73 cents, and a good sell point is around, the higher, closer to 80 cents. Right, so it bounces back and forth, and then it breaks it. It was kind of stagnant, didn't really do much. It was probably waiting. That sounds about right. This is when all the quarters. I'm sorry. When they were releasing all their documents about how they were doing. So it was like a quarter release of how the company was doing, and it looked like they were just waiting for that. It had a little kind of just dropped, and it was probably something that wasn't true, and it started, picking up. They could have had, positive action within the company, so positive news, something about a new CEO or, something like that. And the partnership, it led to a huge spike. And, it hit this point around 95 cents. It dropped down and hit 87 cents, which is a safety net. This is a resistance level. So if this is level 1, this is now level 2. And it was trading in between these two areas. So those that saw, look, it hit this point, it didn't go above it, and it hit this point and didn't go below it. They buy in at 87 cents. They sell close to 95, and they hit their 10% profit margin or whatever profit they were trying to shoot for. And just by understanding these areas quickly, you're able to hop on, ride it up and down, and lock in your profits pretty well. It ended up breaking the 95. This is essentially a critical point. It's what I talked about LPCN. Once it breaks a critical point, it tends to have a pretty big spike above it. And, that's what it did. It hit that like 110 to 115 area and then started dropping back down. Right now it's back in level 2, essentially. We call this level 1, level 2. And now it's trading around this area from the 87 cents to the 95 cents. Do I consider this a good buying area? Hell no. I mean, look, it trades usually, at least for the past month, it was trading around 73 to 79. So I'd consider that a better buying area than 90, unless, you can ride it and you see upward potential around 90 and you could sell, at 95 essentially. Then, I mean, that's still not 10%. So I wouldn't do that. I would be patient, set my alerts. I'd set my alerts as this is a critical point when PLM drops below 85. I think that's a good critical point where once PLM drops below 85, it will start to go back to level 1. And you guys can kind of quote me on that. We can do a follow-up on PLM and just have this one on the lookout because, it does have potential for at least locking in 10% from 73s to 80 cents. So that's definitely possible. Just make sure that when you buy, it's a good buy area and it's a good sell point when you sell. And always make sure you set your stop losses so you can control at least what you could possibly lose. So that's my technical analysis on PLM, and I hope that helped. Okay, GAIL is one that we trade pretty often. It's been fluctuating between the usual prices. So real quick, this is a 1-year analysis. I'm going to kind of go into more of 1 month. So it has huge spikes and then it has big drops. And then overall, as you can see within the 6-month area, an overall low point for this was lows of 37, which is actually where we were buying in. And then a high point for now within this range, right, would be 80. Right now it's trading way below 80, essentially, 50% below. And yeah, so what I'd consider a good buy-in area, and again, do your own analysis for GAIL, but a good buy-in area just by being able to do my own little technical analysis. Let me get this all set up. A good buying area is when it hits 40 cents, it tends to pick back up, and that's just based on the overall stock itself. So it tends to hit around 39 to 40 cents and then picks back up. Just lock in, your 10%. If you're buying at 40, sell at 44. If you're buying at 44, sell at 48. But just make sure that you're trading in good areas. And let me go ahead and see if I can break this down for you really quickly, just because I know we're getting short on time. So this is a safety net around 39 cents, right? Doesn't mean that it can't be broken, but it means that it tends to stay above that price point. A resistance level for buying in at 39 would be around 42. Can you lock in your 10% there? If you're buying around 38 to 39, yes. If you're buying at 38, you're selling at 42, that is your 10%. So tend to trade what happened to trade around that area, and then it broke that resistance level. And like I said, once it breaks that resistance level, it tends to have a pretty big spike and creates a new safety net and resistance level. So the new resistance level now became roughly around, I'd say, just overall looking at this, would be around 47 cents, and a good safety net would be around 42 cents. So what that means is these are new critical points. So as you can see, it peaked right here, touched this point, and then it started to decline. It went up here, and look, it touched that same point down there as they know that's a critical point, and that's the same exact point where it touched right here. So what that means is the old resistance level is now the new safety net. Doesn't mean that it can't be broken. It just means that it's going to be a little bit harder. So make sure you see upward momentum before you buy in. So those that bought in right here probably waited for some upward momentum, saw it picking up, shooting from 43 to 47 cents. That is a perfect, 10% profit, a little bit below it if you're talking about exact, change. Locked in the profits, and, it happened to break it and created a new area of trading. And it started trading between, these points. So this is level 1, level 2, and level 3. I'd consider right now us trading around level 1 area. 42 is not a good buy, and, it could break this and then start trading around this area. And then, 43 would be considered a good buy, and 47 would be considered a good sell point. I would play it safe. These are penny stocks, highly volatile. If you're going to buy and sell at the same point, you want to make sure that you can get in and out and lock in your 10% at that, price point. So what I'd say is, wait, be patient, set your alert. Kind of set your alert if it goes above 43 cents, and set your alert if it goes below 40 cents. As that can tell you if it goes below 40 cents, that could be a possible good buy-in area. And if it goes above 43 cents, then that could also trigger, a good buy-in area if now it's trading around a new level. So this is, again, level 1, level 2, level 3. And I actually made, let me see if I could find it, a little graph. I was on one of my plane rides to Hawaii, and I made this little, it's right here, little levels of resistance, just so you guys have a better understanding. And I'm going to probably post this in one of our group meets. But what I said is, like, look, this is CIE. I was trading this level 1, level 2, and level 3. And looking into it a little bit closer, this is the safety net, this is the resistance level, and it was bouncing in between these two areas. Doesn't mean that it can't be broken, because it could always go below it, I could always go above it. But once a resistance level is broken, if it would break the level 1 resistance, now it's going to be trading between 110 to 133, which is level 2. Now if it breaks that area, it's going to go back to level 3, which is trading between 133 to 151. So I hope this kind of makes it a little bit easier to understand. There's different levels, and there's different levels of good buy-ins and good sell points, and you kind of just have to do your own analysis to really understand that. CIE is one that I made a mistake on. One of our group members shouted it out. I ended up buying at 94.5 cents, and that was a area that, essentially it went below that point. And when it did go below that point, I sold right away, and I locked in, my, let me see if I can actually pull that stock up right here. I'm sorry again for this, and I know I'm going a little bit over, and I really do apologize. I'm just going to focus on this. This is just one of the mistakes that I made, just like I spoke about my other mistake with the other pick, but I'm going to do a quick little analysis, and if I'm not mistaken, this is the one that so let's go into 5 days daily chart. We're going to go to 10 minutes. Yep, this is exactly it. So I thought I was right. So pretty much, let me kind of walk you through this. So this kind of came into our alerts. Jetson is one that shouted it out, said that it had a huge drop from above $1, as it did, drop, so it had a lot of upward momentum. But just because it has that huge drop doesn't mean that it won't continue to drop. And if you can see, it's been on a constant decline, but it's been steady. It's been picking up, which shows upward momentum. So what that means is, when I looked at it right away, we were trading this right around this area, and that's right when it went below $1. And when it went below $1, this is an area that it's never been before. But my mistake was buying in too early. What I should have done is I should have waited for it to set, its own safety nets. It obviously set a safety net right away, right here around the 78 cent mark, as it dropped and then bounced back up. But then, it picked up and it started to go on a constant decline. So what I was expecting right after I bought in at 94 and then sold at 90 till, that was my stop loss. I saw it and I was like, okay, I'm going to be patient. I'm going to wait for it to set its new safety net. I was actually expecting it to drop around 80 to, 77 cents. But it always doesn't drop to that certain point. I just wanted to see some upward momentum and some steady upward momentum, not just one day, but a couple days. So what I did is I waited and ended up touching 82 cents. So once I saw it picking back up, I bought in at 84 cents, and I believe I sold at 97 cents. So with that, I was able to do that all within the market open and then before close, and I was able to sell at one of the higher points. I believe it hit highs of 98. I saw it dipping back down. I looked and did my own little analysis. So I'm going to get a little bit closer to this. And what I did was I saw it. I saw the upward momentum. I bought in, and I was like, okay, I can shoot for the 10%. But I saw it break the critical point of 90 cents, which used to be an old safety net. So when it broke that and started picking back up, I was like, okay, well, I can make my losses from, the previous day. So I went ahead and I sold at 97 cents, but it did hit highs of, like 99 to possibly 98 cents. And that was just me by being able to stand CIE. My mistake was I hopped in too quick. I thought, it was going to pick back up because of this huge drop it had. Never do that. Always make sure that when you're trading, we're here to make money and we're here to make the most money we can. We don't want to lose money, so we want to minimize our loss. So you want to make sure that it kind of sets its safety nets. So you want to make sure that, it starts to pick up and has a steady pickup. So when you buy in, that you could sell at a higher price. So, I kind of gave it one day and it stayed above 83 cents, which it hasn't done before. Like every day as it opened, it went throughout the day, it just stayed constant. And then the next day that it opened, it declined. So it did that for about 3 days. So it opened and then, it went throughout the day, closed and then opened and then dropped. Went throughout the day, didn't move much, opened and then dropped. And then throughout the day, it stayed a little stagnant and then dropped. But then, from 11 to 12, it kind of opened and closed at the same area. So I was like, okay, maybe on the 12th, which is the day I actually came back, we could see some upward momentum. And right away, I saw on the pre-market that I was trading at 85 cents, and then it dropped back down to 84 cents. That is where I bought in, and then kind of rode it. I set my stop loss at 82 cents as that was the lowest point it hit, but it never went back down to that point. It started picking up. I said I was going to sell around the $1 mark, but didn't end up hitting the $1 mark. I saw that there was an old, safety net around 97 and 96 cents. So I set my limit order to sell around 96 cents to 97 cents, and that is where I ended up making. I traded with about $1,000, so I made about a little bit under $150 that day. So I hit it roughly about 15%, and that was more than enough. As you can see, it closed at almost 12% profit. Just by really understanding CIE. So those were my little technical analysis about some stocks to look out for. Okay, and we have another good question from one of our members. Okay, so he says he has an iPhone and he wants to know how to set alerts. So the way I set alerts is I actually use Fidelity. I use TD Ameritrade as well, and you can just open these accounts to kind of use them. So TD Ameritrade is probably the best live platform that's free. So you can create a live platform, or you can use that live platform. If you guys see me trading, often I have that black background and then the red and green candlesticks. I use TD Ameritrade, and I'm sorry, I forgot that I was still sharing my screen. Real quick, let me go ahead and. All right. So by setting your alerts, Robinhood doesn't have that option just yet. I believe they're still working. I've sent them messages about that because I feel like they're really lacking it. They're really lacking it as well when being able to do technical analysis. It's kind of like the Fidelity's mobile app is really bad also. You have to actually have a computer, I believe, to make, really nice looking technical analysis and for you to be able to print them and be able to understand them, which is something I do sometimes just to have a better understanding. So to set your alerts, I'd say, open a TD Ameritrade account, open a Fidelity account, and I believe you can set alerts and it doesn't cost you anything. TD Ameritrade I essentially use mainly just for the live platform and to set my alerts, and it's very helpful because when it comes to trading, I'm not always actively watching the screen or the stock itself, so I can stay up to date. If you have the Apple Watch or if you have the Samsung Watch, you can set your alerts. And I actually made a video just thinking about how to set alerts. So that's on one of my YouTube videos. I believe I made three videos ago. So go ahead and subscribe, and you guys can check that one out. And it tells you how to set alerts, what are critical points and stuff like that, and how I created a watch list. So I believe that video was pretty helpful. But yeah, that's pretty much wrapping it up. I'm sorry I went 10 minutes over, which I usually don't do that. But if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm going to be on my computer all night. I don't know if you guys saw or if you guys are in the group me, I just closed on my second investment property. I actually bought my neighbor's house, which ended up working out perfectly. So, I really want to continue promoting growth, not only with trading stocks, but helping you guys, succeed when it comes to whatever it is that you guys want to do. We have different entrepreneurs that are trying to start their own businesses, becoming real estate agents, which is kind of like a branch off entrepreneurship as you're buying and selling. So I really believe that, the kind of just the concept of what we learned trading stocks, of buying, being disciplined and selling at high points, you could use to make a business. Yeah, you don't have to use it for stocks. You could use it for anything. If you want to buy and sell cars, you kind of create a graph or a demographic on where to buy and where to sell. And when you see, kind of a car that's listed at the buying point in your graph, you can go in, check it out, do your own analysis on the car. If it's a good car, buy it and then sell it. You set your, I guess, like limit order to sell, or you sell the car, you post it for sale at a certain price, hopefully around, I don't know, not 10%. Doesn't always work that way. I hope, if you're trading or you're buying and selling cars, you're making a little bit more than 10%. But I feel like you could really use the concepts that we try to teach one another, and we learn from one another, and all the mistakes and, kind of our best practices that we learn from one another, we could use not only for trading, but for life overall, and to help one another. I really want to help you guys out as much as I can. If you guys are trying to start your own business, reach out to me. I can give you guys shout outs. I really want to join or kind of network with you guys and being able to like connect, be like, okay, look, I'm trying to develop a website. I know a couple programmers. I know a couple people that, are into that. I can kind of link you guys up. And that's the whole thing that I'm trying to do with Techbud. We have a couple ththings that are going to be coming up, and I'm really liking where this group is going. It's a great and a positive environment. It's crazy like how much you guys support one another. I kind of just tried to baby it as much as I could when it started off, and you guys really just are always there for one another. And when I'm not there actively trading, we have different members that kind of hold the group up, which is amazing to see, because I started this, but you guys are the ones that are keeping it going. And I don't know, it's really cool to be able to see, or being able to create something that can help someone out. And if you guys are real estate agents, if you guys do anything that you guys would like help with, or kind of want people to be aware of, message me. I'd be happy to, share whatever it is that you guys would want me to share, as long as, it's appropriate to what we're trying to promote. And yeah, thank you guys again so much for watching. Feel free to reach out to me if you guys have any questions. And we're getting back. For those that still going to school, I'm going to be starting school in 4 days, so that's going to be crazy. I'm crazy busy with work and school and Techbud and the investment properties. Now I'm going to be including school again all over again, so it's gonna be interesting. But having you guys makes it all worth it, because we can help one another. And this is kind of my group. My girlfriend doesn't really always understand it, but I just love talking to you guys. You guys are like my bros or my buds, and I really like helping one another out, and I really feel like we are doing that. So reach out to me if you guys have any questions. I'm going to put my email and my link down below. You guys can join Techbud Solutions for free on Facebook, at least for now, and we're growing pretty quickly. So I'd love to help you guys out and schedule calls and meetings with you guys. So thank you guys again so much for watching. Take care, and feel free to watch the videos of the supercars that we make. Thank you again. Bye.